We're here back in the Fantasy Bar. Big Tuesday night in baseball. I got 6 of my favorite plays on FanDuel and DraftKings, including a couple teams that I'm looking to stack up. A minimum price play over on DraftKings, a starting pitcher with some big time upside. And of course, my favorite play of the night. Who we talking about? Belly up to the Fantasy Bar and find out. Welcome in, guys. Tuesday edition Beers Daily Fantasy 6-pack. Good to be back here once again in the Fantasy Bar. 6 guys fresh off the tap for you. Thank you so much for stopping by and checking out the video. Now, before we get into the plays for Tuesday, as always, make sure you're hitting that like button. That's the tip jar here in the Fantasy Bar, guys. I appreciate it. Video comes to you free of charge. Also, make sure you hit that subscribe button and head over to scoresandodds.com/beer. The guys killed it once again with the picks, NBA specifically, but picks in baseball, golf, NBA, hockey, tons of great information, analytics, and of course, those premium picks. Go and check it out today, scoresandodds.com/beer. All right, Tuesday, let's set the table here. Coors Field on the docket. We're going to look for spots outside of Coors, a couple weather spots to look at specifically in Detroit. Looks kind of dicey. And yesterday, our bats had a case of the Mondays, so we hope to wake them up today. Solid performance from Max Fried, but today's a new day. Let's get it going. All right, let's start at shortstop here on Tuesday with Tim Anderson of the White Sox. Anderson on a nice little roll right now. Multi-hit games for him in 3 of the last 4 and 5 out of the last 8 games. So getting on base a ton here. We know this guy very good against lefties. You see that 394 WOBA dating back to the start of last season. ISO over 200 for him as well. And Smiley, always a guy I like to pick on with these good right-handed hitters. 341 WOBA allowed, 207 ISO. Tim Anderson, solid play to lead us off against the lefty. All right, let's stay there with Chicago. Get you a little stack going with outfielder Luis Robert. Another guy really starting to crush it. This Chicago team, slow start to the season, but these bats, very, very dangerous, especially against lefty. But Robert, just like Anderson, 3 multi-hit games for him over the last 5. His numbers even more impressive against lefties. An ISO at almost 400, a WOBA over 400, and a hard contact rate approaching 50%. Very good against fastballs as well. Going to see a lot of those from Drew Smiley. In fact, almost half the time, 2 right-handed hitters. We're talking a 350 ISO against that pitch. So ton of power in this bat, ton of upside, and that price down at $3,200 on FanDuel. Feels like stealing here tonight on Luis Robert. All right, I promised you a minimum price play on DraftKings, second baseman outfielder Chad Pinder of the A's. Not very often we can lock in a 2K bat here and feel pretty good about it, but Pinder, certainly that guy for me tonight. Even that 2,600 on FanDuel is really going to help us spend elsewhere. But when you look at this Oakland lineup, and I get it, very watered down, traded away a lot of their best players, but still second on the team in both WOBA and ISO against left-handed pitching. So a guy at minimum price with these kind of numbers, certainly something you want to lock in to your lineups. Not only that, very good hard contact rate as well over 50%. So very impressive against lefties. Now Yarborough does give up some hard contact, 36%, fly ball rate at 37%, and just a 16% strikeout rate against right-handed hitters. So Pinder, simply too cheap in a decent spot against a lefty. Helps open things up for you here on this Tuesday night. All right, let's go to pitching next. I promise you a guy with some upside. In fact, I think he could be the highest scoring pitcher on this slate, and you're not paying that price. That's Brandon Woodruff of the Brewers. So a couple pitchers a little bit more expensive here, but again, I think Woodruff can end up being the top pitcher in fantasy points on this slate. So you get a nice blend of price here, solid prices, under 10,000 on FanDuel, under 9,000 on DraftKings. And this Cincinnati squad, certainly not one that's going to put fear in this pick. Woodruff, 15 strikeouts over the last couple starts, and solid against both righties and lefties. He'll see a nice blend here against the Cincinnati Reds, with 27% or higher strikeout rate against both sides. And when you look at Cincy, it's really only Joey Votto. I mean, one bat over a 250 ISO for this team. And when you look at the strikeout rates, 7 of the 9 projected starters, 20% or higher here. So a ton of strikeouts available, a very punchless lineup. And Woodruff has done well against both sides of the plate. Again, WOBA under 260 against both righties and lefties. ISO under 115 here against both over the last year and a half. A solid spot here. Price is too cheap in my opinion. Brandon Woodruff, easily my favorite pitcher on this slate tonight. All right, back to the bats. At first base, going to spend a little money here on Vladimir Guerrero Jr. So we have a lot of reasons here. It's going to help out with some ownership. We got recency bias, hasn't been great of late. We have some high-end pitching on this slate. We also have Coors Field. People are going to want to stack here. So I don't see a ton of ownership going to Vladimir Guerrero, and it's not like the matchup with Tyon is super easy on paper. So I think this could be a premium stack that comes in at very low ownership here tonight. But when we look at the numbers, this guy crushing righties. In fact, leads this Toronto team with an ISO over 300, WOBA over 400, hard contact rate approaching 50%. Tyon, talk about that power mix all the time. Fly balls, hard contact rate, checking both of those boxes here for us tonight. So I know Vlad is expensive. Know he's been slumping a little bit. I think he breaks out here tonight in a big way against the New York Yankees. All right, it's time to take a look at my favorite play. Before we do that, let's continue our Beast of the Night contest. Free to play, easy to play. All you got to do, get in the comment section right below me and guess fantasy points from my highest scoring hitter on DraftKings tonight. Closest guess wins himself a free week of RotoGrinders Premium. Chance to check it all out behind the scenes. So let's get to it. Let's wrap this baby up. My favorite play of the night. You know, Mass, Beast of the Night. All right, Beast time. We're going to go with another Toronto Blue Jays here. Get that stack going. Outfielder George Springer, tonight's Beast of the Night. Now, Springer, 5 multi-hit games in the last 8, so swinging a red-hot bat right now. Numbers not quite as good as Vladimir Guerrero Jr., but pretty solid with an ISO approaching 300. WOBA sitting right at 374. What I really like, this is one of the best fastball hitters that we have, especially against righties. 462 WOBA against that pitch, 468 the ISO, so huge power numbers. And Tyon throwing that about 45% of the time to right-handed hitters. So a very good matchup here for these righties for Toronto. Don't be afraid to stack them up. Gets you different from Coors, gets you different from those premium pitcher lineups. Toronto Blue Jays, easily my favorite stack, and George Springer, easily my favorite play, making him tonight's Beast of the Night. All right, guys, that'll wrap it up for Tuesday night here in the Fantasy Bar. As always, any comments, questions, feedback, you can hit me up in that comment section right below the video. Don't forget, fantasy points for my highest scoring hitter of the night. Your guess in fantasy points for a shot at some free RotoGrinders Premium. And don't forget to check out sportsandodds.com/beer for all of your sports betting needs. For RotoGrinders.com, I am Beer saying salut, guys. Enjoy the baseball tonight. Enjoy the NBA and NHL playoffs as well. We'll take a couple days off. Be back on Friday for another 6 plays for you. Thank you for watching. Good luck tonight, and we'll see you.
Hey, thanks for checking out our videos. If you want more expert advice on DraftKings, FanDuel, or any other daily fantasy sports, make sure you check out the current videos playlist